Hello and welcome to the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. We are just ahead of race one. We are so excited. We finally see the beauty of the beast back on track again. We are here at the new title partner base. It's Goodyear and we're good to have you here. Come on out, let's go into the sun. And I will present you the guest. This is Davide Califano. He is the Director Marketing of Goodyear, and Georg Fuchs, the Managing Director of the ETRA. Such a nice partnership it's going on because we're so happy to see you here now. Oh, we do hear ourselves from the boxes over here. That's really nice. I hope it doesn't mind. So, how do you feel about this partnership?
I mean, we're very excited. This is the first race of what we think it's a new era of truck racing. We as Goodyear, we've been supporting truck racing for more than 15 years. Then in 22, we decided to make a step forward. We became title sponsor. We really value the European Truck Racing Championship as a platform for developing sustainable technology. We are very excited and I really think it's the beginning of a new era. Very, very happy to be here. Nice weather, perfect location, people around, so everything's perfect. Everything was very nice.
Thank you very much for having us here at your base, Georg. This is a good partnership, of course. How huge was the step forward?
A very huge step forward, and really nothing to add what Davide said. We are very delighted that such a global, well-known brand like Goodyear is having the trust in the FIA ETRC, now being the Goodyear FIA ETRC. So we are very delighted, and we are doing step by step, always improving, and now with even more joint forces than before.
And of course, it's testing ground for new technologies, of course. What is the latest project? I saw something there about retreading the tires. What is that?
Yeah, this is when we started discussion last year with the FIA and with ETRA, saying how Goodyear could help the journey towards sustainability of the European Truck Racing Championship. So starting this year, we are retreading the racing tires, and we're retreading the racing tires in normal tires that then transport company can use on the road every day. So this is a major step forward. When we retread tires, we give a second life, we reduce the usage of raw materials. So this is really a step forward towards the sustainability of the championship.
Retreading the tires is just one step ahead, but it's a huge step also in turning to sustainability of the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. What are another plans maybe? What is about the future?
Yes, I mean, basically last year we did the step of switching to synthetic fuel, which is HBO biodiesel, reducing CO2 by up to 92%. And there are things going on, so maybe we will see this season some more innovations, other technologies coming up, because at the end we are very open to any kind of technologies if it comes to the race trucks and trucks, but every step is helping. Tires is a huge component to the waste and global greenhouse gas, and so we are improving on every end.
And now we want to see the trucks on the track. Thank you very much. I'll leave you here, and now let's go to the racing grid, of course, but you will have a quick look at the highlights from the qualifying.
Yes, thank you very much, Christina. It's fantastic to get the trucks back out on track for the very first time this season. We had the qualifying session just earlier here at Misano. A bit of traffic getting in the way of Stefan Fass. We were on board with him throughout quite a lot of the session, and we saw that there were a number of times where he got held up by other drivers. We obviously had the first part of qualifying, which determined the drivers outside of the top 10, and then our top 10 went back out again for a super pole session. So if you end the first session inside the top 10, you get another chance to rearrange your starting position from inside said top 10. Here is Stefan Fass, and as you can see, always with trucks in front of him on track. He seemed to be struggling a little bit. Jamie Anderson only just missed out on getting into the top 10. We saw him there in the number 33. Jose Rodriguez was in the number 14 truck, getting, unfortunately, in the way of Stefan Fass, but he put in so many laps time and time again to make sure that he could get up there. Unfortunately, just missing out and finishing in 12th. So here is a quick look then at the circuit itself. A very, very twisty place to be. And whenever I tell everybody that the trucks are racing here, they think, what, really, Misano? But yeah, these trucks really do navigate this place very, very well indeed. The first chicane, very tricky itself. Rio as well, which is up near turns 4 and 5 on the left of that track map there. Incredibly difficult because of stopping so hard and then getting back on the power. And we'll go back to Christina. And I'll tell you what, Christina, it's just great to be back doing this once again, isn't it? It seems like forever since we finished the season in Misano in 2021.
Yeah, absolutely, but we still know our names, Charles. Thank you very much, and it's good to play ping pong with you again. So let's have a look. Who's here? It's Jochen Hahn. Hi, Jochen. Just a quick impression ahead of race 1. It was so close during Superpole, just 0.051 seconds behind Norbert Kirsch. So you're hard on the brakes right now.
Yeah, you know, this is the race, the first race weekend in the year. So it's now the first qualifying it's done. So, but now it's coming the first race, and nobody knows the performance from Nobby or for me. So it's very tricky in the end, but we will fight for sure. I hope we fight for the winning.
How tricky is the circuit? I saw some cones over there, a narrow right curve, for example, and some other things very specific here.
We know the circuit 100%. The only point is it's very hot. So we don't know the tires now, how fast the tires go down from the performance. And this we must handle a little bit, and maybe in the end of the race we can go a little bit harder.
Sounds great to me. Thanks, Jochen Hahn. So saving the tires, that's one motto for today. And yes, it's really hot here.
I was quite unfortunate to be in Misano last time in October, so it wasn't quite the way. I remember last year I wore the same jumper pretty much all weekend, expecting it to be as hot as it is there. But yes, Jochen Hahn starting second on the grid here. 51 thousandths of a second was the tiny difference between himself and pole sitter Norbert Kirsch. But he mentioned it very, very clearly there. The temperature is going to be one of the main focus points for these drivers this weekend. It's going to be so difficult for them to look after the tyres. Even in the length of race that we have here in this championship, 4 races over a weekend, the tyres can get absolutely destroyed. Even with the high-profile nature of them, they're very thick tyres. But it's great to see that Goodyear are going ahead with this retreading process. Of course, getting the tyres back ready for road usage. And back to road usage we go, down to Christina, who's back there on the grid again.
Yes, 4th ranked Adam Lachko ahead of race 1. Yes, we're finally back, and we were talking about saving the tires because it's really hot. What do you think about how is that possible during racing?
The tires, I think, is not so important save because the tarmac is very slippery. But maybe we must thinking about to overheat the tire because it's really hot. But we are back, first race, and I hope everybody enjoy.
What are your expectations?
Podium? I hope podium.
That sounds good to me. Thanks, Adam Lachko. So, podium. And you see, one is trying to save the tires. We were talking about temperature. That's really interesting how the team's coping with the weather, of course. And it's the first race of this season, Chaz. So, yes, we have a look who's going to be first and second and third on the podium.
Yeah, that's it. The first race of the season, very important to get that initial idea of everybody's pace out of the way. You know, like Jochen said there, Jochen Hahn always so level-headed whenever we speak to him. You know, he says it how it is. And he was just explaining that they don't know enough yet. They don't know what their pace is like compared to Norby. There's only a couple of sessions been completed. He's just going to go out there and give it everything he's got. But it is interesting to see that different drivers think that the tyres may be more important than others. I mean, there was no confusing Adam Lachko's aims there as he starts this race in 4th and will hope to get towards the podium. Our official truck, the Ford F-Max, makes its way off from the grid. You can still see our wonderful pace truck there, the Iveco S-Way, powered by Bio-LNG. I was lucky enough to have a ride in the F-Max at the end of last season at Misano, and let me tell you, Frank and the guys that do the driving of these machines around this circuit, they do not hang about. It may look a little bit sedate at points, but that thing, I can tell you, it flies. It's fantastic to see it. And it's great to have our blue beauties out there once again. I know the press officer of the FIA ETRC, Barbara, bless her, she loves the fact that I love these trucks so much. It's sort of like an ongoing joke between the two of us, but Honestly, I really do love these machines. And it's great to see the support from different manufacturers for this championship as well. Christina was in the Goodyear Innovation Centre earlier on, and it was fantastic to see that we have that in the paddock. You know, it's just wonderful to have it, because as part of a championship like this that obviously works on all of the sort of sustainable fuels and all of the different formats that we can take to ensure that the championship can go carbon neutral in the future, all of these things just add up. You know, the innovation camp, I should say, not the innovation centre at Goodyear. Going back to the manufacturers, though, we actually have 3 more trucks within the paddock that are sort of display models for making sure that carbon emissions and, you know, all of the bad stuff that we sort of sometimes imagine with the truck industry or the trucking industry can be sort of neutralized completely. We have Renault, DAF and Mercedes. We'll discuss those a little bit, though, later on, because Christina is back with us with another interview.
Antonio Albacete, last impressions before the race.
I didn't hear you.
Last impressions before the race. What are you expecting?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, we did our 3rd place, so I think it's good for us, you know. I'm quite happy with the position. And yeah, I will try to not to lose much distance with Norbert and with Jochen, and see if I can fight for the 2nd position, you know. So, I mean, for us, 3rd position will be very good.
Okay.
So.
Thank you very much. Good luck then. So they're fighting for the podium, and now the doors will be closed very briefly. As you can see, final instructions here from Tim Frost. The engine's getting started, which means we need to get off here. Chaz, you know what I mean, what I'm talking about. So it's you in the commentary booth. Have fun, guys.
Thank you very much, Christina. Absolute pleasure as always. And yes, Tim Frost down there on the grid, the absolute star that he is from T-Sport Banau. He's a wonderful bloke, is Tim. And of course, Antonio Albacete, a man that does not mix his words. He's a very, very entertaining guy with a fantastic history in this championship. Nearly 500 starts. He will get that 500th start this season in the 2nd race weekend in just a few weeks' time, when we head to the Hungaro Ring. The 3rd race there will be his 500th race in the championship. He's been around in this championship, though, for 25 years total now. He took a break in 2016, returned in 2017, and he is a 3-time champion, 2005, 2006 and 2010. So here's your grid then. Norbert Kirsch and Jochen Hahn lock out the front row, 2 absolute titans, and, well, the only guys that have won championships out of all these drivers are the top 4 positions, Albacete and Lachko on row 2. Then it's Anthony Janiek with a great 5th place alongside Sasha Lenz, Steffi Halm and Theo Calve, the highest placed of the Chrome Promoters Cup drivers. Then we have René Reiner in 9th position alongside Andre Kurzem. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Jamie Anderson in 11th place alongside Stefan Fast. They are 2nd and 3rd in the Promoters Cup. Next up is reigning champion Shane Brereton, is Thomas Robineau alongside him, the number 22 machine. And then the back row of the grid, we have Jose Rodriguez, truck 14, alongside Clemens Hecker in his brand new Scania, truck 25. So as you see, all the personnel have made their way off the grid. And now it seems like everything's all quiet and calm, isn't it, for once? The number 21 machine rolling back there. We will have onboard pictures as well throughout the season. Thank you, of course, to our partners at Smart Witness. I forgot to even mention them earlier on, so apologies. But Smart Witness are back for a 2nd season in the championship. They will be providing us with onboard pictures, and those onboard pictures do get used for basically incident reviews as well, and it really helps the stewards out. They have a fantastic range of products essentially that you can use throughout the trucking industry as well. You know, they help us all on the road, as dash cams do, and it's great to have them on board with the championship, bringing fantastic technology that, you know, can help you on the road in racing as well. There is a view from Stefan Fast's camera, but that was back from when he was on the grid. But they are the sort of pictures that we will see throughout the race. We saw him in qualifying as well from that forward-facing camera. And there is our Iveco S-Way, the bio-LNG powered Iveco S-Way. Very, very quick thing indeed. Here's the onboard view from Sasha Lenz He's got the very bright yellow truck of Anthony Janiak just to his right-hand side there. The bright yellow number 66 MAN with the French driver at the wheel. Anthony is in his 16th year in the championship. He's had a couple of seasons with occasional appearances, race by race, a couple of full campaigns as well. And he took his overall maiden win in 2015 at Nagaro. So he has at least race-winning potential in that truck. He's got 5 race wins in his career, 22 podiums for the Frenchman. There is Clemens Hecker alongside the number 14 of Jose Rodriguez, both of those drivers in the Promoters Cup, as it's called. In the Chrome class, they share row 8 of the 16 truck grid. Clemens Hecker just getting used to that new Scania for this year. Great to see another Scania on the grid. A bit more of a boxy shape than the MANs. The MANs look like they've sort of had the edges sanded off in comparison to the sharp-looking Scanias. Very aggressive-looking truck. There's the Freightliner in front from Sasha Lenz at this point. And you can see, actually, for a moment there, just how small the cabin is on the Freightliner of Adam Lachko. It looks really tiny in comparison to these other trucks. But obviously, it is great in its own way. Now then, we get them down into the final couple of corners. 2x2 formation, rolling starts in this championship. It just means that things are a little bit safer for us, but it's been a long time coming this. I'm getting so excited, ready for the start of this race. We hope you all are as well, watching wherever you may be around the world. It's great to have you here watching with us this afternoon for the very first race of the 2022 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. And let's not forget, regardless of what happens in this race, we've still got another one later on today, but that is all academic now. Everybody lines up. They all bunch up once again. Norbert Kish will now control the pace in the red Reveish Racing #1 truck on the right-hand side of the grid, on the left-hand side of our shot. He's got 6-time champion Jochen Hahn next to him. 13 championships together between the top 4 on the grid, and we're off and racing in the 2022 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Anthony Janiak got a fantastic start, and Antonio Alberthetti has dropped multiple positions already. Lachko is down the inside of Hahn, but Sasha Lenz is going to try and come back down the inside of him. Looked like a bit of contact there, and straight on has gone Steffi Halm and Teo Calve. Those two completely skipping the chicane. They will obviously back off and give back any time that they've gained. One of the penalty markers going absolutely flying on the exit of the chicane, but it's a nice tidy start from everybody else. Janiak there looking down the inside of Lenz. He's been held off by Adam Lachko, who continues to hold 3rd place. But look at Norbert Kish and Jochen Hahn. The two of them starting to break away very early on here in the first sector, and then everybody else battling nose to nose, or nose to tail, I should say. Antonio Alberthetti there looked like he was getting a bit of a shoulder barge from Teo Calve. And look at Sasha Lenz moving around right behind Lachko, moving this way and that way. Everybody now trying to just stick their nose down the inside as we go into turn 8 at Curva Quesia. Penalty markers going everywhere again. I said about Jamie Anderson before, didn't I? You can't get done for hitting those markers if you go around them. You can see they sort of reinflated there from the outside of the curve. That's quite an interesting way of doing it, isn't it? And Sasha Lenz is now side by side with Adam Lachko on the right of your shot there. Andrei Kurzim and Steffi Halm getting there too. Iveco's completely side by side in the midfield as well. That's the 14 of Jose Rodriguez a bit further down. And look at that, Sasha Lenz around the outside of Adam Lachko. Is he going to get this done? Incredibly close together. I think there might have even been contact as they go through turn 12 there into 13. Hard on the brakes. Lachko's still got the inside. And is he still going to hold a position? I think so. He just scrapes his way in front of Sasha Lenz. Fantastic stuff. It's a quartet now because Janiak and Alberthetti are in there as well. Halm is still down the inside of Kurzim with Anderson trying to come through there as well. Looks like, yeah, Kurzim just slots back in front, but Steffi Halm gets the better of him. That's only one lap. End of lap 1 then. It is Norbert Kish, Truck 1, P1. Jochen Hahn, 6-time champion, chasing him down. Norby's going for his 4th title this year. These two absolutely dominant in the last sort of decade or so, to be honest with you. Jochen Hahn won the championship in 11, 12 and 13. Then Norby won it in 14 and 15. Then it went back the way of Jochen Hahn. And then Adam Lachko broke the symmetry and won it in 2017. Since then, it has been either of these two winning the championship. 18 and 19 was Jochen Hahn. 2020, there was not a championship awarded, and Norbert Kisch won it last year. Incredible to think, though, isn't it, that in the last 10 years, two drivers have won all of the titles between them. Well, except one. Ruined my own maths there, didn't I? Anyway, Lachko still holding on in front of Sascha Lenz. They don't want to burn the tyres up too early here. We come back to the subject of temperature in these races. The trucks will run at very, very high temperatures. They've got great tolerances, these racing machines, much like their road-going counterparts, but at the same time, they still need to try and be careful and manage them over the course of a run. That's Shane Brayton looking down the inside of the 21 truck of Thomas Robineau as they went into turn 9. In the background there, it looked like there was a little bit of smoke or some sort of steam coming from Jochen Hahn's truck. It could have been from some of the water on the brakes. There doesn't seem to be actually that much of the steam showing this season already, but I suppose it might be evaporating and burning off very quickly in the hot temperatures. I was concerned for a second there that Jochen Hahn was potentially having some sort of issue with the engine, but no, he seems to have held on. Sascha Lenz throws it up the inside of Adam Lachko, goes into third position. Lovely stuff by last year's runner-up, and look how close the field is staying already. It's a very beautiful and colourful grid, isn't it? Unfortunately, though, at the back of the grid, Stefan Faas has dropped away there. Doesn't look like he's lost that time on this opening, or at least this second lap anyway, so not quite sure where he lost that, I'm afraid. It might have been an incident in the background. Top two definitely breaking away right now, though. Norbert Kisch and Jochen Hahn. Sascha Lenz locks up the front right brake on the way into the first chicane. We've got a black flag for Andrei Kurzim at turn 4 for hitting the penalty markers. And there you go. You can see it there. Judicial review by Smart Witness. Thanks once again to the team there providing us with the extra footage and everything we can use to get these decisions correct. And Sensata as well, part of that decision. And Adam Lachko gets a black and white flag for turn 13. So he also needs to be careful. Someone else that needs to be careful is Theo Calve, because right behind him now is René Reiner and Steffi Halm all over the back of him for 7th position. Antonio Albertetti looked to be closing in on Anthony Janiak as well for 5th position. Theo Calve also gets a black and white flag for hitting the markers. Pretty sure they are inflatable, actually. I think that's a fantastic idea. It'd be a shame if they get popped, but I think it's a brilliant system to have. Does look like they just sort of pop back up again, doesn't it? Anyway, Shane Brayton looking down the inside of Robineau once again. Can't quite get his nose down the inside. He has to get it done on the brakes. Truck 33 also getting a black and white flag for turn 16. That is Jamie Anderson. Jamie actually got disqualified from 2 races last season. I believe one of them was for overspeeding, and I think the other one was maybe for black smoke. Obviously, they have a black smoke rule in the championship to make sure the trucks are not emitting harmful chemicals. Or harmful fumes, at least. Kisch just opening up that gap a little bit to Jochen Hahn right now. The Hungarian has an 0.8 of a second gap. Sascha Lenz is 5 seconds off the lead. He's not quite there. And look at the train behind Theo Calve. Freightliner obviously not working that fantastically at the moment because he's got René Reiner, Steffi Halm, Andrei Kurzim, Jamie Anderson, Shane Brayton, Thomas Robineau, and then Jose Rodriguez all queuing up behind. Shane Brayton did get past Thomas Robineau on that previous lap. You can hear some of the tyres screaming for mercy as they get into turn 1. This chicane has a very, very heavy braking zone. The commentary boxes at the circuit are just off to the right of that shot. And you see them flying in and really diving down on the brakes. The front bumper and the nose of the truck eating the ground as they get onto that first section of the track. Well, they are all in a big old train, aren't they, at the moment? A little bit of daylight between Kurzim and Anderson, but not a lot of it. And there you go. The number 11 machine, Andrei Kurzim, under investigation for overspeeding. It's only taken a couple of laps to get our first investigation for that underway this season. Jochen Hahn really leaning on that front right tyre. And oh, there goes the marker. The marker's been separated. Oh no. I was wondering how long it'd be before any of them got knocked. As, oh, well, gets absolutely flattened by Janiak, and then, oh, the poor thing, everybody else. Oh, it kicks off over into the grass. Well, I'm sure one of our marshals, the wonderful marshals that we have out there, will be along to either just collect it or try and at least place it back on the circuit very soon. But there's your race leader, Norbert Kish. He won 11 races last season. Had an incredible campaign in 2015 where he won 19 races. And there is a marshal. That just shows you how big those bollards are, doesn't it? Thank you very much to our very brave marshal there. And interestingly, I've just had note that the number 66 truck, which is Anthony Janiak, which we saw on the grass at the very start of the race, is under investigation for jumping the start. Now, it did look like he got a fantastic run on Antonio Alberthetti. And he certainly got an advantage on him that didn't look like it was down to Antonio getting much of a bad start. And he's now actually received a drive-through, I've just had word. Thank you as ever to Barbara, who is constantly sending me information. I absolutely love it. Great to be fed such great information here in this championship. I'm spoiled rotten for choice on what to look at as, whoa, Janiak kicks the back end out on the way into the chicane. That's how easily you can suddenly snatch a break and send these things sideways. But he has received a drive-through penalty. So, unfortunately, his result will not stand as it is. As look at that, that's Steffi Halm, I believe, going down the inside of, is that René Reiner in the number 77 machine? It is. Steffi just squeezes the Team Schwaben truck, Iveco, down the inside. Tries to move up into 8th place, and she does. And René Reiner has actually dropped behind Andre Kurzim as well in all of that fight. So plenty of action going on there. Here's two more drivers that had a lot of sensational scraps last year. Antonio Alberthetti, the real veteran, against Adam Lachko, 2017 champion. They've got 4 titles between them, these pair. And Adam keeping that lovely Freightliner just in front at the moment. I mean, it's part of Antonio's truck right now. They're that close together. But the Freightliner looks tiny, doesn't it, in comparison? But it's definitely not. Another display there of our wonderful new graphics for this season on the left-hand side of your screen. I'm absolutely in love with them. We had a meeting earlier in the week just to go over what we have on offer this season, and it's a fantastic improvement on what was an amazing first year with the live broadcasting, it has to be said. But the team behind the scenes doing an amazing job. And again, very grateful to be a part of it. So, a third of the way through the race, then we come to complete lap for it. Norbert Kish from Jochen Hahn, Sasha Lenz, Adam Lachko, and Antonio Alberthetti. Anthony Janiak still showing us in 6th position, but of course he will serve a drive-through penalty in just a moment. That'll put Teo Calve up into 6th place. Teo's having a fantastic run, to be honest with you. He's the highest placed Chrome-rated driver in the Promoters' Cup by some distance as well. Jamie Anderson next up in 11th. He's got ahead of Shane Brereton. Sasha Lenz now starting to open up a bit of a gap over Adam Lachko and Antonio Alberthetti. You've got to think now, how long is it going to be before Antonio can haul that T-Sport Bernau truck past the Bagheera Freightliner of Lachko. Janiak's still on the road, so he's not come in to serve that penalty as of yet. The field's spreading out a little bit at this point. Back down towards turn 8 they go then. Curva Quercia. As look at that, down the inside goes Alberthetti, sticks his nose down there. Nearly contact. I think there was contact with the big bumper bar on the back of the Freightliner. Adam Lachko there would have been watching his mirrors and probably just thought, I'm just going to close my eyes. Just wait for the inevitable. There was a big hit there last season. We had Brian Smith from the British Truck Racing Championship jump in for the final meeting of the season. And I believe he just outbroke himself and hit Teo Calve, who was fighting for the Promoters' Cup at the time. Teo, very understandably, not happy with said moment, but it's one of those corners that really does draw you in to try and go as late as you can on the brakes. There's a number of corners on this circuit that are like that. That was Jochen Hahn just going through shot there. Sasha Lenz. in the number 2 machine, kicking the back end out once again. Adam Lachko at the moment is only 1.6 seconds off the back of Lenz, so he's not disappeared up the road as Sasha. And Anthony Janiek's race has just got even tougher. He's just got a 10-second penalty for overspeeding, and so too has Andrei Kurzim. Janiek has come into the pits. You can see him there on the right-hand side of his shot. And Andrei Kurzim now has also got himself a penalty. He is currently in 10th place, but he's going to drop down. It's a real shame for Andrei. It's not easy at all to have to sort of plow on in a race like that and know that your result is going to be affected by a penalty come the end of it. There is Sasha Lenz, truck 2, watching probably in his mirror, just laughing, knowing that he doesn't have to be involved in all of it. With this battle going on behind, and that's a big send down the inside by Antonio Alberthetti. Leans on the Freightliner. Look at this. This is what you've got to love about truck racing. They can get away with contact like this. They can have a bit of rubbing, a bit of argy-bargy here and there. These two have both had their fights before. They know what they're doing. Lachko still down the inside of Antonio Alberthetti. Fantastic stuff. Antonio tries to get a cut back, just rubs the back end of the Freightliner, shoves him out of the corner. Out of Curva Tramonto. Back down the back straight we go, through this incredibly high-speed section. I'm not sure if it was me, but the right rear tyre didn't look too fantastic on Alberthetti's truck there. Hopefully it's not going down. I hope it was just more the fact that because of the contact, it looked a little bit scuffed as Antonio throws it up the inside. Look at that. Really sends it down the inside. Oh, he's clouted the side of Adam Lachko. Absolutely clouted the side of him. There was the contact there again on the exit. But I fear that it may have just gone to pot a little bit there for Antonio Alberthetti and Adam Lachko. Not quite sure what the result of it was for Adam, but I'm sure he's going to have lost the place. Yeah, there is the difference. Adam just going through shot there behind Antonio. That's a real shame to see. Steffi Halm's truck has the bodywork flapping around on that front left corner. The whole field continues on. Alberthetti does have 4th position. As there is Andrei Kurzim's truck. He's been in the wars as well. The bodywork on that truck certainly knocked out of shape. Shane Brayton just with him there in the number 17 machine. He's now inside the top 10. As a reminder on the right-hand side as well that we have all of these wonderful sustainable fuels here in the championship. All of our racing trucks run on renewable, 100% renewable HVO biodiesel. Our pace truck runs on bio LNG as well, which is great to see. And as mentioned earlier, we have a number of electric powered trucks and hybrid trucks in the well, showcasing the fantastic technology that is coming to the industry. As Lachko is now back in front of Alberthetti, but for how long? Alberthetti gets back through at turn 8. These two certainly getting their elbows out here. I think Andrei Kurzim might have got away without a speeding penalty here, actually. As there are the fans waving away at the circuit. It's great to have all the fans back with us. Absolutely great. As you'll all know, and anyone that's interested in motorsport will know, there are a lot of events over the last 2 years that have been sort of affected and dwindling in numbers because of COVID protocols and obviously just on safety grounds, really. But it's great this season to have so many fans back with us, really supporting the championship. There's a wonderful industry behind all of this. Now, Norbert Kish is absolutely flying at the moment. He's just gone even... Well, actually, no, he's not done his best lap. He's done a 2:03.8 on that lap, though. 2:05.0 for Jochen Hahn. So Norby's just able to carry the pace in this middle phase. A little bit better, it seems. Sasha Lenz still in 3rd place. A little slide on the way in to the first corner there. Alberthetti now still ahead of Lachko. I'd be intrigued to see what their sort of discussion is like after the race. To be a fly on the wall there, that would be fantastic to hear. But it certainly looked like Antonio threw it up the inside and smacked into the side of Lachko. Teo Calvé is now 6th, still holding on. He's got Steffi Halm right behind him. Only half a second between the two that time round. Then there's about 8/10 back to René Reiner. Shane Brereton next up, and then Andre Kurzim still rounding out the top 10. There's Jochen Hahn taking a wider entry into turn 8 that time. Turning in a bit later. Gives you a good run up the hill again, and at the end of the day, if he's got a bit of daylight between himself and the trucks around him, you can experiment with those different lines just to see how it helps the tyre as well in a long run, just to see whether you get a better run anywhere. Here is Teo Calvé once more. He's going to be tearing that rear view mirror off by the end of this race. Not been one moment of this race where there's not been a truck right behind him. He's really had to work for this. Doing a great job, though, all the same. Like I say, still leading the Promoters' Cup in this race. Shane Brereton second in that 9th overall. Robinot is 11th. Jamie Anderson's dropped down a little bit, actually, into 14th spot. Not sure if he's had some sort of incident somewhere, but there is Norbert Kish continuing to lead this race. He's another driver that's driven a lot in tin tops and obviously then made his progress into truck racing in 2011. This is his 12th year in the championship. He won Clio Cup Hungary, and he's a double Seat Leon Cup champion as well, 2007 and 2008. So Norbert Kish can certainly drive a number of things well. He's an avid sim racer as well, a world in which I started my commentary career. So it's still Kish from Hahn, Lenz, Alberthetti and Lachko. A lot more of a gap between these two now. I'm wondering whether Adam is suffering from maybe some sort of damage from the multiple bits of contact they had earlier on. I'd sincerely hope not. But then Teo Calvé has got the rest of the field still following on. Steffi Halm just not able to do enough yet in the Iveco. It's just not that much quicker than the Freightliner at this stage. But it's still wonderful to have the Freightliners in the championship. Really shows you the sort of diverse nature of some of these trucks and the different layouts you can have of their engines, cabs, different wheelbases, just different designs in general. It's great to see it. Of course, we have the 4 different manufacturers across the championship, and there's yet more fans as well, enjoying themselves in the shade, very importantly. Here at Misano, it's incredibly important when you're here to try and find some shade because it's hard to come by. This is Steffi Halm. René Reiner still very much in touch there in the number 77 machine for Reiner Racing. René isn't teamed up with anybody this season as far as I know for the Teams Championship. There's only 8 of them in our field that have decided to pair up. Norbert Kish is one of them, though, and his teammate for the season is going to be Antonio Alberthetti. They're both having a pretty good race so far, to say the least. Antonio's really been getting stuck in with it, hasn't he, with Adam Lachko? And then back down the straight again they come. Coming towards us there, I think that was Robinot in the 21 machine. But Norbert Kish, he just makes it look easy sometimes, doesn't he, Norby? He's just putting in lap after lap after lap. Continuing on at this fantastic pace that he's got. And there is the 21 of Thomas Robinot that we saw earlier. Still powering on. This is going to be his 5th year, his 5th campaign in the championship after occasional appearances. He's done 4 seasons in the French Truck Racing Championship, finishing 2nd in that series to Teo Calvé last year, who did double duties on the weekend as well, actually. He was in the French Truck Racing Championship and won the title there, while we were also racing at Le Mans as well. Sasha Lenz, Antonio Alberthetti and Adam Lachko all looking safe in their positions at the moment. Alberthetti did say earlier that a podium for them would be great right now, after all of the hard work put in over the winter. And this queue is starting to compress again a little bit behind Teo Calvé, isn't it? They're starting to get closer and closer to the back of him. As whoa, Andrei Kurzim kicks the back end of the truck out there as he changes up a gear and slaps that penalty marker. There's 2 of them up there that haven't been recovered from the grass yet. Look at the way these things lean as well. That's another thing that's worth discussing on these trucks is they aren't completely flat. They do still lean a hell of a lot and move around, spreading all of the weight over their wheelbase. They show off a lot of body language in the course of these races. And there's a lot of camber and caster angle calculations go into the front wheels on these trucks especially. You'll see them really lean out of the body when they throw them in to maintain that big contact patch on the road. That was Jamie Anderson going through shot, and there is Stefan Fass in the Tank Pool 24 machine. Currently in 15th place. Clemens Hecker hasn't completed the second sector yet, so I'm not quite sure if something's happened to him out on track, but he's dropped down to the back of the field, maybe during the first sector, although it says he's completed the first sector actually, so I correct myself, but hopefully Clemens Hecker not having too much of a major issue there with his new Scania. He has now completed the second sector, but some half a minute slower than normal. So not quite sure what has happened there to him. There's Jochen Hahn. 5.9 seconds off Norbert Kish now. And hoping that Sascha Lenz doesn't catch him before the very end, but we're on to the final lap already. Time certainly flies when you're having fun. And there is the huge flag that Christina saw earlier. Big Hungarian flag. It may look like the Italian tricolor, but no. Same colours, different flag. Now there is Clemens Hecker in his Scania, and that is definitely at a reduced pace. It's a very beefy looking truck, isn't it? But his race is not going to be completed under full pace, unfortunately. It'll just be 11 laps in the book for Clemens. But any second now, we will get our race leader and surely race winner Norbert Kish into the final couple of corners. I've just been told that Andrei Kurzim will get a 30-second penalty for penalty markers, so Andrei's clearly been taking too many liberties with those over the course of this race. But out of the final corner to take the first win of the season, Norbert Kish, reigning champion, Truck 1 P1 in Race 1 of Meeting 1 in 2022. Very well done to Norby. Jochen Hahn finishes in second place. Good start to his campaign as well. And Sascha Lenz takes the podium in that number 2 machine. A great job by all involved. Antonio Alberthetti finishes in 4th position. And next up is going to be Adam Lachko. Something tells me that that truck was being limped home in the end. And somehow, I mean somehow, Teo Calve holds on to take a win in the Goodyear Cup. Sorry, the Promoters Cup. Got too used to saying that over last year. He just beats Steffi Halm to the line, then Rene Reiner, and then Shane Brereton finishes second. Not a bad start to his Promoters Cup campaign either. And Thomas Robineau gets a podium in the category on his first attempt. There's your top 3 on the left-hand side of your screen, though. Norbert Kish, Jochen Hahn, and Sascha Lenz. 3 drivers that have got unbelievable history in this series. That is Norbert Kish's 148th podium in the championship and his 64th race victory. He's got just over half of the race starts of Jochen Hahn and just over half of the race wins as well. So it seems like a relative figure between the two, but they both have great respect for one another on the track. They really, really do fight well. And they know how quick they both are. You know what I mean? You know, they're both very level-headed about it. Jochen pulls up alongside Norby. I'm sure he'll give him a thumbs up there. Hopefully no other digits raised between the two, but I don't see any reason for that to be going on. Sascha Lenz in third as well. It was a bit of a lonely race for Sascha, wasn't it? Once he'd cleared off from in the sort of mid-pack, he disappeared up the road and didn't really have anybody to fight with. Steffi Halm and Teo Calve, they make their way down the back straight side by side once more. Theo, absolutely amazing defending there. That's actually 2 of the Bagheera trucks inside the top 6 there. Lachko finishing 5th, Calve finishing 6th. Theo started 8th on the grid and went forward from there. Sasha Lenz started 6th, let's not forget as well. He had to make his way past Anthony Janiak, Adam Lachko and Antonio Albacetti. That's certainly not easy to do on the easiest of days. There's Jamie Anderson in truck 33. He's not going to be too over the moon with 14th place. He qualified 11th. So dropped down over the course of the run. He'll be hoping for more from later this afternoon. Now, obviously, one of the main things to remember here is that we have a reverse grid in the championship. So we will look at what the reverse grid will be a little bit later on. But into the pit lane and into Parc Ferme comes Norbert Kish. Race winner for the first time this season. And I hate to predict the future, but I can tell you that's not going to be the last time that we're going to see Norby take first place. Jochen Hahn pulls into the right-hand side. Sasha Lenz on the right of our shot there pulls into 3rd place. And then just behind we'll get the Promoters' Cup top 3 as well. Theo Calve, Shane Brereton and Thomas Robineau. You can see how beautifully presented these machines are, though. They're fantastic looking bits of kit. Great racing machines. Everyone says racing trucks aren't the most conventional, but they are certainly fantastic. Norbert Kish, a quick pump of the fist there. He's a really, really happy bloke for that. That's the best way to get your campaign started. Pole position and a race win to immediately get things underway. There's a quick look behind him, and then we'll celebrate with the team to great applause as Revesh Racing take their first win of the season. Handshakes all round. There goes Jose Rodriguez just making his way past. In the background there, in the white overalls, you can see Frank, who is one of our pace truck drivers. He's an absolute star, is Frank. Frank the Tank, we call him. He's a very funny bloke indeed, and a very talented driver. Now the debrief will begin for Norbert Kish. Not too much to talk about, I imagine. I had Jochen in my rear view the whole time, he'll be saying. There's Christina over on the left, ready to interview Norby in just a minute. And Sasha Lenz makes his way over to his team as well. Fantastic vibe, though, by all of the drivers and all the teams down there. And Christina is down there, soaking all of it in. How's it down there for you, Christina? Should be good fun, I imagine.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So we've got to see our first winner of this 2022 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. And I think it won't be the last time that we two will be talking after a race, but this is the first time. So you said you're going to be fast. How did you manage to get some space between you and Jochen Hahn?
Well, it was difficult actually, because also in the qualifying it was very tight, and Johan is very fast on the first lap, on the second lap, on the third lap, and he was very close to me. But I guess he used up his tires a little bit more, and then he started to fall back a little bit. And then I see he's not really a threat anymore. And I guess he was saving his tires as well a little bit. And in the end, I didn't push 100% as well in the last 2-3 laps or something. So yeah, I guess it was a bad tire usage. But this is definitely something that we have to think about, because we have to get faster on the first lap.
So it's not only the number 1, which is new on your beautiful truck, but also, of course, during winter time, the team did a lot of effort. How are you right now prepared for the season? Is everything fine?
Yeah. We changed quite a few things, small things. The main concept remained the same because it was already working very well last year. So we, try to fine-tune, and refine some things. And I think we definitely achieved some good results in the development. But yeah, I guess also Johan is much faster than last year, so yeah, he's very close.
And of race 1, you remember the procedure. Up to the podium, please.
Yeah,
thank you very much, Soches. And you remember as well that you need to commentate this. Now Norbert Kish, and of course rank 2 and 3rd, so it's Jochen Hahn and Mr. Sasha Lenz going up to the podium right now.
Thank you very much, Christina. Yes, fantastic first race of the season. And like you say there, as Norbert was explaining, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We say that quite often here in the UK, and they certainly had a fantastic formula with that MAN last year at Reverse Racing. There were a number of times when nobody could touch Norbert over the course of a race weekend. Looking back, actually, at last season's results, I think he almost took all 4 race wins in a weekend. But there you go. That's the one that matters today. Norbert Kish wins. 5.6 second gap back to Jochen Hahn in second place ahead of Sasha Lenz, and then Antonio Albacete beating Adam Lachko to the line. Teo Calve finishes in 6th. Fantastic defence from him ahead of Steffi Halm and Rene Reiner in 8th. Shane Brereton finishes 2nd in the Promoters' Cup ahead of Thomas Robineau, who gets a top 10 in his first race of the season. Behind him was Jose Rodriguez for the Rebo Canort Racing Truck team, 40 seconds off the lead. Jamie Anderson finishes 12th ahead of Stefan Fass. Anthony Janiak after his drive-through penalty. Andrei Kurzim gets a penalty as well. And Clemens Hecker, unfortunately, not finishing the race and having to crawl round at the very, very end. As mentioned, though, it can be very attritional here in truck racing. They have very, very high tolerances, but the margin for error is still very, very small on these massive machines. The drivers will make their way up to the podium in just a moment's time. Everybody will get everything all prepared and sorted out up there for the presentations. And they will all get their very hard-earned silverware and a nice bottle of champagne to go with it. As you can see, though, from the heat haze, very, very hot here at Misano World Circuit. Marco Simoncelli. It's a really, really good circuit to visit, though. If you do get the chance to ever go out to Misano, I do urge you to do it. There's a lot of fantastic viewing points. You can see a lot of the circuit from just in the top right of your shot there. You can see everybody's feet, actually, on the steps, but there's a really, really good sort of viewing paddock up there, or like a rooftop. And you can see so much of the circuit from it. It's a very, very good vantage point. That's if you can get into the paddock anyway, at least. We had some very, very fun antics on the podium last year here at Misano, where son of Jochen Hahn, Lucas Hahn, joined us for the podium and absolutely soaked his dad as soon as he got a chance to have a bottle of champagne. He had a wonderful meeting here last time out, actually, and really, really helped his championship campaign. We just wait now for the drivers to make their way out on our wonderful new podium for this season. It's a much darker shade of blue, of course, with Goodyear coming on board as the title partner. You'll see their branding all over the circuit and, of course, all over our trucks as well. And the announcer you can hear there in the background announces Sasha Lenz up there in 3rd position. Very well done to Sasha. And the legend himself, Jochen Hahn, takes 2nd place in the first race of the season. Much like he did last year as well, actually. Jochen finished 2nd to Norbert Kish at Hungary last year, but then went on to finish 6th and 5th. But your race winner is once again Norbert Kish, reigning champion, continuing on fantastic form once more. He and the team will be absolutely over the moon with that one, and we'll hope that they can continue to carry that form on for the rest of the season. Sasha Lenz receives his trophy, we think, for 3rd place. There you go. Raises it high. Lovely bit of glassware as well, that is, from Misano, with the shape of the circuit on it as well. It's quite an interestingly shaped circuit, Misano, actually. It's a very, very complex track to try and make some sort of design from, I imagine. Jochen Hahn finds another one for what I imagine is a massive trophy cabinet back at home. And, of course, a trophy for your race winner, Norbert Kish. He's got a lot of fans out here in Italy already by the look of it and by the sound of it as well. You can hear them cheering and chanting away. And there you go. Wonderful podium. 3 very deserving drivers, and I can tell you that all 3 of them will be on the podium a lot more throughout the season. Norbert Kish was up there 14 times last year, Sascha Lenz 11 times, and Jochen Hahn was up there 7 times in 2021. The 3 of them certainly sharing a number of fantastic results, and will continue to do so this season. Now, they will not drench each other with champagne because they only have a couple of hours until the next race this afternoon at Misano. We have 4 races over the whole weekend. No more qualifying sessions coming our way today, but the second grid will, of course, be determined by a reverse grid scenario, which would mean that based on the results as they went over the line, the provisional results will put René Reiner on pole position ahead of Steffi Halm on the front row. Then it's Calvé and Lachko, the 2 Freightliners from Bagheera Racing, next up. The drivers change their caps. They have their own sort of personal branded caps as well, and they get a chance at 2 pitches. And they have the they know the respect between them not to drench their overalls ahead of this afternoon's race. You could see there Jochen maybe thinking, do we have a bit now? Do we have a bit of tipple right now? Why not ahead of this afternoon's racing? I think he was hinting that they bang the bottle down on the podium, which helps it fizz up even more. I'm sure we've all seen the footage of drivers doing that before and completely smashing the bottle. Norbert Kish, he absolutely loves it, doesn't he? He's such a showman. Really, really enjoying himself out there on the podium. I think next up as well, we will have more drivers out there for the Promoters' Cup podium in just a sec. 3 more very deserving drivers after a lot of hard work has gone in over the winter to get that initial result this season. It's great to have our roaming camera down there in the pit lane as well, showing us all the fans and everybody that's come out to see these drivers. Everybody soaking up the sun and really enjoying themselves this afternoon. And here on track, we have yet more machinery making its way around. The beautiful gold tones. Those 2 trucks making their way around. I wasn't quite sure which of them they were. I think that might have been one of our DAF CFFT electric trucks, but don't quote me on that one. I'm yet to see what colour that truck is for this year, but we might have our own gold beauties as well as the blue beauties that we often see. You can see the pit wall absolutely packed and so many people dressed in the fantastic Apollo tyres purple. You'll see a lot of that over the course of the race weekends. There's 3rd place, Thomas Robineau, takes his first Goodyear Cup, or Promoters' Cup, get it right, Chaz, podium of the season. Shane Brayton takes a class podium as well. And much like there was a lot of times last year, Bagheera Racing's Théo Calvé, the wonderful young Frenchman, takes his first Promoters' Cup win of the season in 2022. Had a lot of fun last year, actually, after Misano with Shane Brayton, the team, and his wonderful family in Bologna Airport, actually, as we all got the same flight home to the UK. They're a really, really good bunch over at Apollo Tyres TOR Truck Racing. Thomas Robineau very happy to get some silverware on his first race this season. It's very well deserved as well. It's great to have him back with us. And he's once again sharing the podium with Théo Calvé. The French national anthem sounds out around Misano for Théo Calvé. A very well-deserved win once more for Bagheera Racing. Shane Brereton then hops up onto the top step with them. And they pose for pictures, which I'm sure you'll be able to see on the FIA ETRC website very, very soon. Champagne all round. And again, Thomas Robineau, bless him, he's absolutely loving it, isn't it? It's great to see drivers really enjoying themselves out there. And I'm sure everybody down below will appreciate the champagne shower in the heat of the Italian sunshine this afternoon. They make sure that they don't need to go and dry clean the, the overalls ahead of the next race. The race which will be coming up at about 20 past 4 local time this afternoon. That's when we're going to go live. 20 past 3 if you're in the UK. So there's the championship standings after race 1. They score more points in race 1 and race 3 than they do in races 2 and 4 because of the reverse grid. The top 10 get 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 in the second race, but that means that Norbert Kish makes the most of the advantage from this one. Jochen Hahn and Sascha Lenz, 15 and 12 points each ahead of Alboretti and Adam Lachko. Theo Calve doing well in 6th place ahead of Steffi Halm, René Reiner, Shane Brereton and Thomas Robineau, very much enjoying his first visit to the podium and, of course, his first top 10 of the season. And what we're going to do is have a quick look back at how that first race all unfolded for you. And then we will say goodbye ahead of this second race of the weekend. It's already, well, it's flying by, isn't it? Time does fly when you're having fun. We all lined up on the grid. Everybody smiles covering the entire grid. And then we got the racing underway very, very quickly. And straight off the bat, it was Norbert Kish and Jochen Hahn that broke away. Sascha Lenz making an early advance on getting past Adam Lachko. And then the battle would unfold. Antonio Alboretti and Adam Lachko getting very, very friendly in the opening couple of encounters. Penalty markers shuddered in fear as the Freightliner went up against the MAN. Eventually, Antonio would benefit from a little bit of argy-bargy driving later on in the race. Theo Calve was one of the real stars for me, defending from just about everybody that threw anything at him as the race went on. But Norbert Kish would keep all of his fans very happy and take his first race win of the season. Jochen Hahn finishes second with Sascha Lenz in third. Fantastic first race of the weekend, though, in the glorious sunshine. You can see there's a nice breeze fluttering the flags here at Misano this afternoon. I'm sure everybody will be very grateful to have at least a bit of a breeze along their backs and in their hair throughout this first meeting. It can get incredibly hot at Misano, but let's not forget, with that high pressure, it can also rain a hell of a lot as well. So we're hoping that the rain stays away this weekend and that the trucks and the drivers can all have as easy a time of it as possible. You can see a number of guys there, all still on the pit wall from Revace Racing. They have a number of different podiums to all go through, the different class podiums, team podiums as well. There's a lot of great procedures that go into this championship. And it's all one big, fantastic show that goes on all weekend long. You can see some more of our production road-going trucks making their way through the pit lane as well. Really shows you the size difference between the racing trucks and the trucks you see on the road. They are actually not that much smaller, to be honest with you. Christina is in there, though, with Theo Calve.
Yes, congratulations for your first win this season. It was really a hot race, you can tell that. You ranked 6th after the race in complete, so about the best of the Promoters Cup. Congratulations. How was the race?
Yeah, thanks. It was honestly difficult race for me. I struggled a lot with the truck. It was really not easy to drive. We tried some modification, all of those things, but it's really difficult to stay on the good way. So yeah, I had to defend a lot this race. I finished 6th, so which is a good result. And first in Promoters Cup, the first one of the season. I'm really happy, and I hope I will have more like this.
How was the team effort? Because the winter has been long, but full of work for you all.
Yeah, we worked on both trucks during the winter. We try to, as each year, to find some new things to be faster. So yeah, we did some testing in Moss, for example, Nogaro, and yeah, it went pretty well. So now let's see on the season.
Thank you very much, Theo Calvé. So you see the trucks will be transported back to the paddock. But we do with one more interview. Mr. Robino, because you don't see him a lot during truck races, congratulations, third place on the Promoters Cup. How was it for you?
Yes, it's good race for me. This truck is perfect. It's a good day for me.
So what do you expect from the seasons? When will we see you again?
Yes, just only one race. After, I don't know.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you.
Robino. So we wanted to chat with him, of course, and introduce him to you. And now we see all the trucks are really driven by. So Chas, I hope you can still hear me. It's quite loud here.
Yeah, that's one thing that the cameras really don't do justice sometimes in truck racing, and the microphones. It is incredibly loud, these machines. They make a very distinct noise, of course, like the trucks that you see on the road, but they are amplified 10 times over. They sound amazing, and they look amazing as well, as we caught a quick look there at Sasha Lenz's truck there, looking very, very good indeed, the SL Truck Sport number 30 machine. But we will be back later on this afternoon for the second race of the season. The live stream will start, as you see there, 4:20 local time in Italy, or Berlin time, as I've been told to call it. But we also have an hour's difference here in the UK, so it's not quite such a late afternoon here in the UK for us. We'll be live from 3:20 if you're watching me over this side of the channel. There is the number 21 machine of Robino making his way back into the paddock. Sasha Lenz's truck there just standing by for a moment before he then makes his way back, and then the teams will all go and prepare, get everything ready, give the trucks a once-over, and then get themselves ready and back out on track for that second race this afternoon. The reverse grid, though, is going to be very, very interesting to see. René Reiner and Steffi Halm looking to make up the front row of the grid, and then we have both the Bagheera trucks of Theo Calvé and Adam Lachko to join them. Will the trucks continue to look this good, though, throughout the season? We'll have to see. But Christina, well, you've got a closer look at them all down there.
Yes, I do, and I can assure you that they are looking great and not much damage, but I saw some body parts flying away, and of course penalty markers a lot to do for the marshals ahead of race 2. We're really looking forward to see those beasts back on the grid. So we opened at the Innovation Center here at Goodyear, and I think we're going to finish it right now after race 1. It was really great fun. Thanks for joining in. Tune in, please, ahead of race 2. So let's enjoy the view here, the paddock, and of course with all of you at home and with the fans here.